I agree with Colin, man. It's a bit of a circus in the NFC East, but that makes it fun. But I'm going to name the teams a little bit differently than Colin. I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, they are the magicians. Because every time we get down on the Eagles, they pull out a game like they did last week. Jalen Hurts over 300 yards, AJ and Devontae, both of them over 100 yards, and they just keep us settled down for another week. So they're the magicians. And then for the Dallas Cowboys, they're the ringmasters. Who's a better ringmaster than Jerry Jones? Every week he's in front of the camera, he's answering questions, he's telling us the Cowboys are the best team. We don't believe him. He goes and talks about Michael Parsons and we can win without him. We don't believe him. And all they do is come into town with 3-3 record, 3-3-1, the best offense in the league. So nobody plays the media better than Jerry Jones. He's the ringmaster. And then the aerial acrobat, that's the New York Giants. Okay. When you look at Scatterbo, you see him flip in the end zone. That takes energy. Him and Jackson Dart, they have injected energy into this team. They think they can beat anybody. And did you see Abdul Carter on the field last week? He laid down. They thought he was dead. And then all of a sudden, touch my hand. Oh, the energy shot through him. You know what I'm saying? That's what they've done to this team, and they feel like they can go into any stadium. Let me see. Oh. It works. It works. And then juice. And then the clowns, commanders. Oh. Clowns wear makeup. All right. So the commanders, you can keep the makeup on your face and we can laugh at you, or you can wipe the makeup off and we can laugh with you. You got to learn how to win with injuries. Injuries are part of the game. We just saw you in the championship game a year ago. So we have expectations and we know what you can do. So NFC East is a circus, but man, it makes it so interesting. And Jules, I know you have an idea about this NFC East as well.
Yeah, we talk about Jerry Jones being this ring master. And let's talk about this circus. What does Jerry Jones do this offseason? Brings in Brian Schottenheimer. Can everyone question that? They only have the second best offense or the first best offense in the league. Dak's playing like an MVP. Jake Ferguson, he's fifth in catches and touchdowns in the league. And we never talk about him. We always talk about CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. Yeah. Like, they got offense going. Dak is playing his best football. They look confident. The Dallas Cowboys have a confidence right now that we haven't seen in years. So you got to tip your cap to Jerry Jones, the ringmaster, who brought in Brian Schottenheimer, who's got this thing going. And then the defense. Yes, the defense has been struggling. They gave up 22 points last week to the Commanders, right? A lot of that was in garbage time. They've gotten better, and defense always gets better as the season goes. When the defensive guys get the film, they sit there and they got those old fat defensive coordinators that have all those snacks, and they sit there and game plan all day and read these offenses and what they do. And I expect the defense to continue to get better. The Cowboys are going to make a run for this division. It's not like clear-cut Philadelphia. Philadelphia's identity's all over the place. We know what the Cowboys are. They can score.
Right now, you have to pick the best team in the NFC East. It is who?
Right now?
Yeah, you.
Pick them.
I mean, the Cowboys, it's tough because there's a lot of questions.
Okay. The Eagles or Cowboys? Who is it?
Well, you got to go with the Eagles still.
Okay.
Still got to go with the Eagles.
Speaking of the Eagles, the Eagles and the Giants get a rematch from Week 6, that Thursday night game where it was sort of Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo's coming out party, but they are on the road today in Philadelphia, and there is Jackson Dart arriving to the stadium. Giants, of course, had that fourth quarter collapse against the Broncos last week, but right now we're going to get in the know, brought to you by Jeep, and Jay Glazer is our all-terrain fact finder. You heard me. All-terrain.
Look at that.
AFF.
Notice I put it in gear and I moved a little closer to you this week.
That's right.
It's like first couple weeks I was in quarantine back there. But you can't put a short guy in a big set like this all the way back there. I look like an ant in a magnifying glass.
Well, you're all terrain. You can go anywhere.
That's exactly right.
We're talking about...
Be careful for that sunlight. We'll burn you.
We're talking about the NFC East. What can you tell us? Give us some scoopage behind the scenes in that division.
All right, well, first of all, Jules was just talking about Dallas. Man, if they just get their defense to move up there in the ranks a little bit, they would, I think, be maybe a clear-cut favorite there. Well, Dallas is trying. They've actually called around to try and trade for these two guys over here. They called the Raiders for Max Crosby.
No.
Was told no. Yes. They called the Bengals for Trey Hendrickson. Was told no. They are calling around for help on defense, but they're not the only ones. Washington's calling for a defensive end. For the trade deadline is in about 9 days from now. The Eagles are always calling around looking for help on defense as well. Giants are the only ones who kind of stay put.
Okay, so let's go back to the Commanders. Charles called them clowns. Now, they can go either way with that makeup right there.
By the way, I don't like that word. I don't like that word. We have Strahan coming up later. I am deathly afraid of clowns. Phobia. Yes.
Really?
Ask him about it. Yeah.
You're not alone in that.
There's a lot of people
it's
in
real.
that boat.
By the way,
Like, I would
that's a
kill a clown
problem.
if they're in front of me. No.
Kill a
Ask him about
clown?
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God. No
I'm
one needs
sorry,
to be
kids.
killed
Yeah,
in the
sorry,
making
kids.
of this.
I get that scared, though. I'm fighting for my life.
By the way, the worst thing you could do is tell us what you're afraid of, because there might be a clown
No, it's
later
that
in the
bad.
show.
You'll have Strahan. I'm not. You
Okay.
can't mess with me about
Well,
it.
Washington
Yes.
doesn't want it to be that bad. They haven't had the start that they want. How do they get this thing turned around?
Look, I talked to Dan Quinn actually about it this morning, and he said, look, I think we've been so banged up that we've been very cautious in practice. We had to go back. I put the ones against the ones. We got aggressive. We upped the tempo. We just got to fight. That's what my brand's always been, is these fighters on defense, whether it's the Legion of Boom or Atlanta's defense. That's what we've been. We went away from it a little bit, so we're getting back to it.
Okay, you mentioned Max Crosby. Yep. So it was a hard no from the Raiders to Dallas.
It was, but so the Raiders told him they're not moving him, but also Max Crosby said, I don't want to go anywhere. Okay. And there was one team who called me and said, hey, could you find it? And I told him, no, Max said he doesn't want to go. And the team said, man, we love him because his loyalty. We wish he wasn't, though. We'd have a shot.
All right. In serious news, the NBA facing all of those allegations regarding illegal gambling and an ongoing investigation. How is the NFL handling that?
Chris, I talked to so many people on the weekend. And every single person, players, GMs, coaches, assistant coach, whatever, they're all talking about it. They're kind of minds blown. The one thing the head coaches I talked to said, it gives us an opportunity to talk to the players. We are this week and address instead of, so they're not just talking about it on their own, but to use this as a teachable moment and make sure these guys scare them straight a little bit. You guys are targets.
All right. I feel like we say this every year. The sky's falling, the drama in Philadelphia. They're able to right the ship. Bounce back last week. Will that continue this week, Charles?
Yeah, I'm a little conflicted on that one, Carissa, because last week they had A.J. Brown. This week, there's no A.J. Brown. And when I look at this team, you know, this year in pass defense, they're 19th, total defense 23rd. Last year in both of those categories, they were first. And so Dory Jackson being out, so the little injury bug is hitting them, and they're just not as stout as they were last year. But you know what? I still do have faith in the Eagles. I have faith in the quarterback that he knows how to get the job done and get wins when he needs to. They still have Saquon. They got to find a way to get him rolling. So I'm gonna stick with the Eagles on this.
Jules?
You know, I am a little worried as well. I'm conflicted like Charles. And the reason is because why did they win last year? Because they dominated the offensive line and they dominated the defensive line. Juergens being out is going to hurt them. He played so big when Kelsey retired. They got to the Super Bowl, they won. They dominated the trenches always, and they haven't done that this year at all. So I'm a little worried about them. But look, if a team can deal with turmoil, it's this team.
Yeah. Jay, injuries? We know A.J. Brown, we know Juergens,
that's
Jackson.
Big one. Look, they thought maybe for a second, hey, maybe we can get Brandon Graham back if we just sign him. But no, they're holding back, and they're going to use the bye week. They'll get him in there. They'll get Nolan Smith in there. But the Giants are interesting because the culture there with the Giants has always been the sky is falling. We're waiting for the sky to fall. Right? And I remember when Joe Shane and Brian Daboll first got the job, I told them that. I said, you got to be careful that you have to change that culture. And when I talked to people in the Giants this week, even though they had that horrific sky falling type loss, they said, that's not the feeling around here. Because of Scadaboo and Dart, we don't feel like we're waiting the sky to fall. We feel like we have hope now, which we haven't had in a while.
Jules, speaking of that, how do they do what they did in Week 6 and get a victory on the road against the Eagles?
They got to lean on Jackson Darth Vader.
Okay.
And Cam Scatajuice.
Oh, I like that.
Look, Cam Scatterboo got a grill this week. So he's feeling swaggy, flary, and spooky. I expect him to bring the juice. And they got a Dart. This kid right here, he's making, look at, there it is. See, look, he grilled. Those are the princess cuts on the diamond. Get on the grill. So, like, look, I feel this team is almost too young to even know how to bounce back. They don't understand that yet.
I have a question about a grill. Do we take it out?
No, yeah, you take it out when you eat.
You take it out when you eat. Okay, I feel like you would have had
a grill. I had a grill. I did have a grill.
knew it.
No, you did.
I did.
Seriously? I knew
had them
fangs
fangs open, princess cut on the bottom. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Today's process for the Eagles won't include wide receiver A.J. Brown, starting center Cam Juergens, and then over there on that defense, cornerback Adoree Jackson. Good news for them, they will have on that offensive line Landon Dickerson, and then on their defense, big Jalen Carter. Two guys they didn't have Week 6. Of course, Michael Strahan, you remember, without Jalen Carter, Jackson Dart and the Giants able to run all over that Eagles defense. Wade Stray, this is an impromptu, but I'm going to ask you because I know you can handle it. Sunday Scaries, I saw you talking about it over on CT's show. You know who doesn't have the Scaries playing here in Philadelphia? That Jackson Dart. He said it's his first time, obviously. He calls it, I think it's going to be electric. What do you say? Was it electric playing at home against the Eagles? Tell me.
My favorite place to play. I love the mean audience. I love the mean crowd. It got you going. But, you know, I love the passion that they have for their team, and nothing better than to beat a team that fans have passion because you want to shut them up. But for the Giants, I mean, it's a tough go. You did hear EA say about who's in and who's out. I think Jalen Carter being back is one of the biggest things for Philadelphia. But you're also going against a Giants team, I think, who not only won, but kind of dominated the Eagles last time. So they're coming in extremely confident. And for the Giants, they've scored 30 points, you know, the last 2 weeks. One of those 30-point outings, over 30 points, was against Philadelphia. And this young quarterback, Jackson Dart, has been electric for the team. Add in Scatterboo and some of the younger guys who are bringing a lot of energy to this team. I think they go into Philly feeling confident without the fear that they are, you know, just another, well, we haven't beaten them in so many years. They've done it. They've done it in a big way. I think for Philly, this is the game where they need to be careful because even though they're getting some guys back, the one thing that seems to be taking Philly away from themselves is they're doing it on their own. It's like the infighting. And that's the one thing. When you win a Super Bowl, when you're a champion, you almost start the infighting start to get you because guys want more credit. And, you know, and there's credit for everybody when you win.